you've got some brand new material to work with this week.
Ooh.
And what we're going to be moving into are American Math Freedom Units, or uh, more commonly known as the US Customary System, but our Bitrick method of it is a little different. And so it needs its own name. But what we're going to do is first I'm going to introduce you to our math toy pieces, all right, or our game pieces. Are you familiar? You're familiar with the metric system, correct?
Yeah, from doing the sheet,
From
the
from the
the graph.
previous list.
Yes.
Have you heard about the metric system any other time besides that?
Yeah, I mean I've seen it on a couple things, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Got it. So in the metric system, everything is grouped into groups of 10. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So for example, there are 10 millimeters in a centimeter, and then
Mm-hmm.
10 centimeters in a decimeter, and so on and so forth. Right. So everything in the metric system is grouped into tens. But for the Bitrix system, we go into we have varying groups. So you might group at three, you might group at four or five, so on and so forth. So this system is used to help make converting between the metric system into the Bitrix system a lot easier. All right.
Okay.
These are pieces that we're going to start out with. The smallest unit is 1 milliliter. 1 milliliter. All right, that's the smallest unit of volume that we're measuring right now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then the 5 milliliters
One
go inside
teaspoon.
of 1 teaspoon.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a question? Did you say something?
I know, I was just saying, yeah, 1 milliliter is 1 teaspoon, what you're saying.
Very good. So now, if there are 5 milliliters in 1 teaspoon, how many milliliters are there in 2 teaspoons right here?
Milliliters.
Say again.
And there's 10 milliliters.
Very good. There are 10 milliliters. We can count that up by saying five,
Yeah, 10.
10. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now here we have a tablespoon. A
Mm-hmm.
tablespoon is made up of 3 teaspoons. One,
Mm-hmm.
two, three.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, 3 teaspoons go inside of 1 tablespoon. All
Mm-hmm.
right. And if 3 teaspoons go inside of 1 tablespoon, how many milliliters go inside of 1 tablespoon?
15.
Why is that?
Because we're counting by five, so we'll just say we know 5 milliliters go in 1 tablespoon, and no teaspoon, my bad. And if we know that there's 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon, we'll have to count by fives or do like a 5 times 3. And in this case, it'd be 15 in total. So
So
just add,
let's so can you count out those groups of five for me, starting with five here?
since we have 1 teaspoon right there, that'd be five. The second one would be 10. And then the other would be 15. And then 1 tablespoon is also half an ounce, right?
Yes, 100%. You're remembering from the last lesson, right?
Yeah.
Way to go. I'm proud of you for that. Okay. So, yes, exactly. 1 tablespoon is also half of an ounce, or half of a fluid ounce. It's important to make that distinction. But right now, we'll just call it an ounce. Okay. It's half of an ounce.
All right.
And so, if 1 tablespoon is half of an ounce and there are 15 milliliters in a tablespoon, then how many milliliters are inside of a full ounce?
Then there'd be 30.
Very good. That would be 30 milliliters. Perfect. So these are going to be our primary game pieces for from now moving forward. Okay. Do you have any questions about this?
Nope, I'm set on this.
Perfect. So moving right along. Now we can use these play pieces to the left to build, or these play pieces to the right
Mm-hmm.
to build other values. Okay.
Okay.
And these shapes should look familiar. We have a few different ways of representing the milliliters, which we'll get into more detail later, but we can represent them as this thin little bar or a dot or drop. This is another way that you can visualize it because the milliliter is so small, it's practically a drop.
Mm.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So then we move up. Can you infer what this shape might represent?
So then that represents a tablespoon.
Uh,
Not a tablespoon, a teaspoon. My bad.
Very good. Very good. And what's this shape?
So that shape would be half, well, yeah, half a fluid ounce or a tablespoon.
Perfect. And what about this shape here?
So that shape would be 30 milliliters or 2 tablespoons or an ounce.
Awesome. You're catching on to this so fast. Okay. So another way that we can, when we think about using these shapes, we're imagining them like containers. Like this is a large beaker that we're filling up with liquid or with volume. Okay, and we're filling up that space. So let's come over here into our play space. And again, what we're going to do is we're going to drag out these shapes into our play space to activate the value. All right.
Okay.
So let's start out with 8 milliliters right here.
8 milliliters.
Right. How will we place that 8 milliliters? Again, imagining that this is a beaker that we have to fill up.
Uh-huh.
How would we place this 8 milliliters into our play space?
All right. So first, what we're gonna do is we know that we can have a teaspoon in there because a teaspoon is 5 milliliters. So with that being said, oh, I thought I had my annotation tool. Hold on, let me get that back. So with that being said, we can drag this teaspoon right there and put them right below in our, let's just say, beaker spot. Boom. So now we have 5 milliliters. And now we can't mess with that anymore because that'll be 10 milliliters and that'll be too much. So with that, we'll have to go over and wait, this is represented by, what is this again?
A milliliter.
Oh, that is oh, that's a singular milliliter? These?
These objects are separate. They're not a group.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's what those below. Okay, so then these would just be ounces, right? Right here. What is this? I'm forgetting everything.
Those are okay. Let me break these down for you.
Yeah,
These are all milliliters.
yeah,
Um, each one of these drops is a milliliter.
a single milliliter. Okay,
1 milliliter, 2 milliliter.
okay.
We have this rectangle, which represents a single milliliter, and this rectangle with a dot next to it. So the rectangle with the dot next to it is there. Actually, I'll show you. I'll show it to you in a second. But I want you to finish telling me how many more units do I need in order to finish out this 8 milliliters?
So to finish up the 8 milliliters, wait, you need 3 more milliliters. So with that being said, um, you need. You just tell me the value of this. All right, we're just gonna say 3 more of these milliliter length pieces.
Very good. These milliliter pieces. And again, this is measuring volume, not length. So let's just
Uh,
make sure we keep that in mind, okay?
volume. Okay.
All right.
So then,
So
boom,
then
we have
we
eight
so now
milliliters.
we add
Oh no, I was just saying we have eight. Wait, we have 8 milliliters. What were you gonna say we need to add?
nothing. We don't need anything else. We have created or we placed 8 milliliters into our beaker. We filled up the beaker up to 8 milliliters. All right. This 1 ounce beaker or little bottle. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm going to show you the reason for these units over here because it can be a little cumbersome seeing all of these little rectangles inside of the space. It can be difficult to see. So what we can do is we can replace them with this symbol here and create 3 of them. And now we can see each of the 3 individual dots because when we write our number, I'm going to write it out in like how we would write it out on paper when we're not using this chart. I would
Mm-hmm.
draw out a very tall L like this that's 6 units tall and 1 unit wide because we need a place for each of our teaspoons to go. And then I would fill it in. I would draw out a line like this to mark 1 teaspoon.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would put 3 additional dots over here to the right. 1, 2, 3. And that's what these dots over here are for as well. 1, 2, 3. To tell us that we have 3 additional milliliter drops because they're so small.
Okay, so
Um,
this,
mhm.
well, this and this are literally the same thing. No, like not um uh well, this whole equation pretty much. Not equation, but whatever.
Exactly, yes. This group of 3 dots is the same as this group of 3 dots over here.
Yeah.
Again, it's just a way for us to differentiate them and keep things organized so we can see them better. Okay. So when we go through future puzzles, we can just use, when we build them using the math toys, we can just build it with these rectangles right here without the dots. But when we write it out on our own, we want to make sure that we use dots over here to the side. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And we'll get some more practice with that as we move along. All right. So you did a great job with that 8 milliliters.